Hey guys, Jay-Sensei here again. This is going to be what if Shinra had Phoenix power. I'm referring to Marco the Phoenix, as in this one I didn't really have this big of a canvas as a thumbnail, or for thumbnail. I'm kind of giving my own, well, not my own, but I'm giving the guy who designs my thumbnails a break, Mark Spade. Mark's Spade. He made some of my more recent thumbnails. I thank him for that. Shout out to him. I'm giving him a break and just giving him a break so he can do his own stuff and not have to worry about the stuff that I asked for. Yeah, so this thumbnail I had made, and I didn't have as big of a canvas for it, but I worked with it. Alright, so this one, basically, Shinra would have the abilities Mark of the Phoenix, referring to, like, his Phoenix ability, like, just the blue flames and healing. Now, with that, we're going to go to basically when Shinra is 5 years old. When Shinra is 5 years old, Shinra would basically be, it'll run the time, well, not 5, but 7. This one, when Shinra's house would, catch fire, Shinra in this one actually saves his family. And I'll show you how. His pyrokinetic abilities awakened, and when Shinra is being caught up in flames, being burnt to a crisp, Shinra's pyrokinetic abilities awakened in himself, as his body is being pushed to its limit, trying to survive. With that, suddenly blue flames emerge from Shinra, well, make sure blue and yellow flames. These flames blow out every single window in the house, but put out the fire. As the firefighters arrived, they had seen Shinra emitting blue flames, and they all get geared up to go grab Shinra, to make sure that they thought he was causing the fire. As they touched him, they jumped back, not because they were burning. Shinra was ice cold. It made them think he's dead until Captain Burns removes his glove, puts it on Shinra, and says, "That's not his body, that's his flames. They're not hot, they're cold. So he didn't do this." They immediately ran around the house, seeing Shinra's mother was okay. She wasn't an infernal, she was alright. Then they see Sho, who's missing from his crib. Now with that, with Sho missing, Shinra's mother had realized that, well, Evangelist took him in the middle of Shinra healing himself and putting out the fire. Which led to Shinra's mother bursting into an infernal, as I said, of her own accord, and jumping out the window after first pushing away all the firefighters and jumping away. Now Shinra in this one was actually aware that was his mother. He's aware of it. And with that, Shinra would be brought to Hajime Industries, that's the name of it, where they had tried to teach him how to control his flames. Eventually Shinra gets control of his flames pretty easily, and he is able to eventually grow wings and talons. The talons be on his feet, the wings be on his arms. And eventually Captain Burns sees talent in Shinra's abilities, and he is training Shinra personally with hand-to-hand combat and military experience. Now, with that, Shinra had actually been training extreme martial arts, a point where he is introduced to Benimaru. And Shinra is introduced to Benimaru when he's 13, so let's check out what Benimaru is. So, he ends up meeting Benimaru. Shinra had learned, he did learn. He has a really good affinity for Krav Maga, using Jiu-Jitsu, and Taekwondo. And Benimaru, Burns wants to test out Shinra's martial arts against Benimaru's VI, and alongside Konro, and I forgot Benimaru and Konro's father's name, but against him. So when Shinra's brought to Asakusa, he's wearing a basic black shirt, the pants you see here, and sandals. Now eventually when he meets Benimaru, Shinra's 13, so that leaves Benimaru to be 17, so around that age. And Benimaru tells Shinra to come at him. Shinra and Benimaru begin fighting. Benimaru can admit Shinra's physical strength is something that Benimaru himself would fear if he wasn't Benimaru. Eventually, Benimaru begins fending off Shinra. So eventually, he lands a pretty serious blow to Shinra using a giant dart of flames. She shoots to Shinra's body. Benimaru says, "This kid wanted to fight. I killed him. So what?" Well, is that Shinra isn't dead, and there's no wound. Shinra would say, And Shinra says, "You look like a baby." Benimaru ran at Shinra again, actually pretty impressed and enraged at the same time. Shinra began speeding up a bit, and eventually, as Benimaru was at a distance, suddenly he realized that flames were shooting at him. Feathers, it looked like. And they began slicing apart his body, and it was really cold. The bleeding wasn't happening, but Benimaru's wounds were open and exposed. What Shinra's flames basically do is they had stopped the bleeding as they cut, but the wounds were just kind of out in the open. But eventually, as Shinra began kicking where the wounds were, or the biggest ones were, began hitting Benimaru there, Benimaru couldn't really stop it, because his whole body was being cut by wings. Or not by wings, by feathers. Eventually, Benimaru gets punched right in the chin, full force by Shinra. Then Shinra would do a backflip, using his wings to flap up, and that adds more force and just speed, knocking Benimaru completely out. Then Shinra lands on the ground, he shoots flames from all over Benimaru, as Konoha could tell. Well, the way Shinra used his feathers was different than the way he's doing Benimaru right now, so he's seeing what happens. And Benimaru's wounds are gone, and he wakes up saying, what the hell? And he says his chin stings a bit, there's no bruise. And Konoha says, well, long story short, Shinra kicked the hell out of him. Benimaru says, the brat won. Impressive. He holds his hand to Shinra, saying, right, you have my respect. Shinra shakes Benimaru's hand, saying, I didn't want it. Just want to see who I'd beat to become the strongest fire soldier. Benimaru laughs, saying, alright, I like you, kid, because stop by any time. Shinra get along pretty well alongside Benimaru and their father. And when Shinra's leaving, the Great Fire of Asakusa breaks out. That time, Shinra's looking at walking out until a giant Infernal would rush at him, and Shinra, just off instinct, would do one technique she had learned. It's kind of memorabilia, or like a memory of Kung Fu / Wing Chun. Pretty sure it's one of those. And Shinra just calls it 1-inch punch. As you can watch the movie, they learn how to do it repeatedly over and 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 over. Remember, Shinra perfected it. But yeah. The giant Infernal will start Shinra. It's not Demon Infernal, just a really big one. Shinra then just says 1-inch punch. It's his fingers. Well, his middle finger will touch the body first. With that, Shinra will suddenly just launch a giant punch, sending the Infernal into ashes. Shinra started looking at fires breaking out, saying, looks like I have to stay here a bit longer. He then grows his wings out to the biggest extent, as then, on his mouth, flames get manifesting into a beak. Shinra says, alright, this is kind of weird now. But he just flaps in the air, and his wings go to an insane extent, to the point where his talons disappear, and his wings are like tens of feet long, or have at least 20-foot wingspan in total. That begins going through houses, with his wings touching it, not burning anyone, or just making them really cold, really. And he puts out a lot of flames, and heals a lot of people who are damaged, and is able to swat away a lot of things that are hitting people. Around an hour of saving people and fighting off Infernals, he comes across Konoha versus Demon Inferno, or Konoha and Benimaru. As soon as the Demon Inferno is about to launch his strongest attack, that would make Konoha throw Benimaru out of the way and stop it with his own. Suddenly, as the Demon Inferno launches the attack, before he can throw Benimaru out of the way, Shinra appears in front of them, holding them in place with the other wing, and making one surround him. The attack hits. They're not phased, but Shinra's arm looks like it got blown apart. It heals slowly, but his arm looks like it has no skin on it whatsoever, just everything else. Shinra falls down, wrapping his jacket around his arm, and stopping the bleeding. While Konoha took advantage of Demon Inferno being stunned, and may be moving out of it alongside Benimaru. Eventually, Benimaru stops for a bit, leaving Konoha to do it, and to let Benimaru get to a lot more strength, as Demon Inferno was left open, because he pushed Konoha away. With that opening, Benimaru fired a flame arrow right through the Infernal's chest, blowing it apart. Benimaru chuckled, looking at Shinra, saying, "You alright, kid?" And Shinra says, "My arm has no skin on it. Of course I'm not okay." Benimaru kind of chuckled, saying, "Alright, fair point." Konoha had looked at the Demon Inferno as, yes, it's blown to pieces, but half its body was still active. Now, Benimaru. Konoha immediately ran into the Demon Inferno as he punched its fist, and Demon Inferno kind of headbutted Konoha, making a large gash on his nose, but kind of up his forehead. And kind of onto his scalp. That allowed Konoha to get the Idolo Link. In the process of getting the Idolo Link, he used the rest of his energy to blow apart the Inferno completely, destroying it. And not getting Tephrosis. Now with that, Shinra, the next day, would be sent back all the way to Captain Burns, but with Benimaru and Konoha thanking him profusely. Now, for the next few years, he'd be trained by Burns, until the point, next few years, so he has to be enlisted in Fire Soldier Academy. When he's there, he meets Karin, Ogun, and Arthur, mainly. He meets them, and they get along pretty well, and he's not known as, the guy with the demon footprints. He's more or less known as, their, I guess their superior. He's noted as one of the biggest helps in the Great Fire of Asakusa. So, yeah. Along with Along with basically them kind of thinking of Shinra as like their superior, they also think of him as kind of like a guardian deity. And with that, when Shinra's 15, he actually does get a tattoo of, well, a giant phoenix on his back. And Shinra begins making a technique to blend in with that tattoo. You know how dragon tattoos don't really like a detailed dragon, but like a really good sketch, but not at the same time. Because what Shinra's phoenix is. Like a symbol for a bird, but there's like detailed wings that go like Shinra's elbows. You go from like his back all the way to his elbows, and that's like the wings. And Shinra began making a technique, the point where flames spark out of those wings, and he's able to make kind of thrusters in his back. And with that, he's able to get sent flying at farther speeds and distances. But usually kind of just keeps it covered up with bandages because, well, he's a teenager that's not even 18 yet and has tattoos. So he's going to cover it up for a bit. Now, Shinra also works the hardest in their training, as Captain Burns had him do a lot harder stuff, and it's kind of easy to him. But still, he wants to give it a go all out. They do push-ups. Shinra basically does it in a handstand position, as Ogun, Arthur, and Karin do it the same way. Until Shinra pushes up to one hand, and he's barely able to hold a statue like that. Then hand-to-hand combat training, he beats the living hell out of everyone, even some instructors. Not some, all of them. And Shinra is basically seen as the top student at the academy, outmatching everyone. Now with that, Shinra is immediately assigned that he might even have to lead a squad with how strong he is, how tactical intelligent he is, everything. His stats are perfect for a leader. But Shinra says that most likely he doesn't want to be a leader. Well, not a leader. He wants to be like an inspector. Like he'll inspect every single division, and then determine which one would need would need better leadership. Now with that, he's immediately assigned to Company 8 as they're the more recent one, so he's assigned to there. When he's there, Shinra is immediately told that Obi is told that Shinra, yes, he's young, but he's not like someone under you. He is your equal. He is an inspector. And Obi is aware of who Shinra is, just without being told who he is. He made sure that Asakusa didn't go up in flames and be incinerated completely. Without Shinra, they still would have won. It was just he prevented like half the damage from being caused. Now, eventually, when he does arrive, well, first the train station thing, I'll try to go over that. When he's there, Shinra kind of just walking off his train, and is playing on his phone. When you see the Infernal jump off another train car as Company 8 arrives. But he appears from behind the Infernal, shoving his fist through their chest, saying, I guarantee you a good memories with your family, try to think about them before you pass on. He's taking the more Asakusa route with destroying Infernals, with the more just try to remember the good life you had and everything. Whatever you are, I assume you've had at least one good moment in your life. Just try to hang on to that. And so you tried to tell the man, and the Infernal's flames immediately died out, as it looked like it had smiled, and it just turned to ash. Company 8 was kind of shocked. They saw an Infernal smile. And they didn't see this teenage boy, who has slightly longer hair. Shinra's hair is kind of down to his chin. He didn't cut it for a while because he was focused on training more. And he says, "Oh, you're Company 8. I'm Inspector Shinra Kusakabe. I'm assigned to your division." And Obi bows to him, and Shinra bow back. And he then says that this division seems cool and in order. Let's go. Now with Matchbox, they get in. Shinra kind of sits on top of it. And as they're driving away, he just leans back playing on his phone still. The only way he's not falling off is because he's kind of using his feet as like repulsors. So usually when you get sent flying off forward, his feet turn back. His back kind of has the same effect. He has like an equal force holding him in place. As they get there, he jumps off the Matchbox, and they look at the base saying, what kind of hellhole is this? That's when Obi says, "Well, we're probably not used to this, but we're a new division." Shinra says, Obi's saying, "That's not a damn excuse. You have multiple days off. I know that." Shinra says, All right, that's one bad mark." Wait, what? You just got here. You can't already give me a bad mark. Shinra says, Obi saying, "I'll give you a goddamn another one." And Obi backs down saying, "Fine, what do you want us to do?" Just, alright, we're gonna help me rebuild this dump. He says, "I told you need to rebuild it." Obi sighs as they spend all day rebuilding the whole place, and with Shinra actually being able to carry a lot more heavy stuff, actually talking everyone being stronger than Obi, they're more or less open to Shinra helping them as he carries good double the stuff they need. So, in 28 hours in total, they finish building and rebuilding, well not rebuilding, but was repairing the whole Company 8 building. It's more presentable, and people around it are more attracted to it, and they're pretty cool. They like it a lot. Now with that, Shinra is kind of pretty handy in every division that they need for a fire soldier. So he's temporarily kind of like their doctor and everything, like every position that Victor and Vulcan would fill. He fills up that position in for himself. But now I'm going to go to basically that Infernal Woman. That one. When that happens, it happens right as they finish rebuilding. Shinra volunteers that he can handle it from here. They look confused at that statement, saying, like, you can handle it from this position, or you can do it yourself. Shinra says, probably both. He goes out, makes a giant wing, and then he sends off one of the yellow feathers. He finds it, suddenly shoots by, and with the sheer force of its speed, it extinguishes all flames, and destroys the Infernal immediately. And then another feather comes by, and there's a letter delivered to the place that says Company 8 was doing something right now, so we sent out that little thing to destroy the Infernal. And don't worry, we said it prepared before she was executed. And it says, so even when they're not here, they can save us. He smiles, being proud of that. Now, back to Shinra, and then they go inside. Shinra lays on his bed and falls asleep. When he wakes up, he sees that his hair was cut, because, well, no one liked it at all. It looked disgusting. His hair was cut, and his bandage on his chest and arms are gone. Shinra realizes that, well, he wasn't really allowed to show off his tattoos, plus, don't want anyone to see it either way. Like, some students didn't like it, and instructors couldn't see it, so, and wore bandages around it. And when they saw it, Obi-Wan thought the tattoo was pretty cool. Maki said, how'd you get through the academy without anyone noticing your tattoo? He said the students hated it, and the instructors didn't know about it. So, he talked about his tattoo and everything, and eventually, Shinra says, oh yeah, today you guys are getting a new member. He just remembered that. A little confusing until Shinra says, yeah, it's my old friend Arthur. Shinra then says that he should be here in an hour, or an hour later. Arthur arrives, and when he sees Shinra, he bows, saying, oh, Shinra, how are you doing? Didn't know you were here. And Arthur is actually pretty amazed with the place. He then says that he didn't know Arthur was coming, so that's why he built that training place over there. Points to it, and Arthur is immediately in love with it. Pause real quick. So, Arthur began training as he would show off his sword, Excalibur. It's originally blue, but now it actually has a pinkish tint to it. That shows that it's very much heated plasma. With that, he's able to actually show off his swordsmanship skills and his already insane physical strength that rivals Maki. That Maki's outmatches him technique, as Arthur doesn't know any martial arts. He is just a pretty basic fighter. Yes, he has some at least a few moves from karate that Shinra taught him, and a little bit of swordsmanship technique. That's really all. And Shinra had actually already beaten Maki previously. Shinra had already beat Maki without using flame techniques, and when he does use them, he moves too fast for Maki to even catch him. When she did catch him, he was already abusing her completely. Maki's already covered in bruises by the time she fought Arthur and won pretty easily against Arthur. He beat everyone on the squad, except Iris because she's not a fighter. But now the next thing that gets to be important would be Arthur executing that one Infernal. And Shinra just go over his style of executing Infernals he got from Asakusa. Don't try to make them don't pray for them. Just try to make them remember the good ones they had in life. So they go with that, and Arthur is actually very much admirable. Well, he loves that. So as he goes inside the house to execute the man, he doesn't pray, and Iris does her own quiet prayer while Arthur begins saying, you have a daughter, you had a wife, and you can now see her again. And you can make your daughter glad by knowing you went in peace. And now with that, the infernal flames die down immediately, and Arthur just shoves his fist to his chest, destroying it. Doesn't use his blade in anything. As they walk out, when Obi's about to be crushed by the rubble, Shinra holds up with just his giant wing, saying, be careful. We runs out holding the picture, gives it to the little girl, and Shinra says that her dad was, exorcised. He gave a smile, and he destroyed himself of his own accord. And all it took was for him to remember he had a daughter and a loving wife. Rubbing and smiling and crying, not really being upset, but knowing that her dad was still conscious. Now, next up, Rookie Fire Soldier games. With that, Shinra is allowed to participate without using Fire Soldier abilities. When he arrives, Captain Burns and Karim, they see Shinra first, and Shinra is talking to Karim like they're good friends. And he's talking to Burns like Burns is his teacher, which Burns kind of was. Tamaki, once he's away from Burns, would push Shinra, saying, who do you think you are, talking to my captain and my superior like that? Shinra looks at Tamaki, saying, "Back the hell off before I headbutt you into the ground." Tamaki turns back, saying, "What? Don't talk to me like that. I'm with Company 1." Shun says, "Yeah, you guys are on our next division." Shun first saying, "Wait, what?" Shun says, "He's not a fire soldier. He's a fire soldier, but he's not really a member of any division. He's an inspector. All he does is make sure the division is properly ran and has good members." And Tamaki saying, "Judged by the likes of you, I may have to disperse Company 1." He walks away as Tamaki immediately froze, realizing that she pissed off the wrong guy. Company A was kind of cleared up by Shinra because they actually put in work to improve their base, so that X mark they gave them is gone. Because they were actually willing to put in work to fix up their base, and he thought that they were pretty trusted. It was just they looked like crap, but the fix the base helped. Now, first order games begin. Shinra can start in running pose, and everyone realized that, he wasn't using fire abilities. Everyone that knew who he was realized he wasn't doing that because it was his handicap. Immediately he had dashed forward as he actually jumped off Arthur's shoulders. Arthur didn't know the handicap, so she was standing still. Shinra jumped off his shoulders. Arthur jumped up by himself and was actually able to do it pretty easily. He used stepping Excalibur into the building. He's on the roof. He kicked open one of the windows and steps in, and immediately sees Joker beating up the two guys. With that, Shinra looks at Joker, and one of Shinra's arms sparked up in flames, saying, "Should I trust this is going to be a good fight?" Joker says, "So you're not to question me or anything?" Shinra just chuckles and replies with, saying he has no need. Well, no need. With all this evidence, I could kill you if I want. He flies towards Joker, something Joker being fighting. Joker has to admit, Shinra is dozen times faster than him. Shinra in his base form, in this one, without powering up to any flames, he can only get as fast as can in Shinra in the anime, minus the speed of light thing, but yeah. Now, Shinra begins using his flames as thrusters. When he's fighting Joker is being overwhelmed physically, while Arthur and Tamaki are just watching Shinra overwhelm this man. Now, when Joker begins using his all-out power, and they'll see the giant card in flames, Shinra will immediately go all out himself, or as much as he can, as flames shoot out of his back, destroying half the building, not just because it's hot, just because there's a lot of force behind it. That Shinra grown full wings, his legs turn into talons, and he grows a beak, and his eyes light up with coated in yellow flames. He flies in the air, and then begins spinning down with just a strong punch to Joker, his card dispersing his whole power, and Joker flying and skipping across the water like a rock. With that, Shinra begins flying towards Joker again, and him and Joker begin fighting as Shinra went back to normal form. Just the yellow flames around his eyes stayed. And with that, Shinra's tattoo began lighting up, and immediately he had grown wings from his back, which he was kind of confused with, because his wings are usually on his arms. But he wasn't complaining. He kept on fighting Joker, and with superior speed and strength amping him, he had basically beaten Joker to a pulp. Joker had used one card that Shinra didn't see, and sent it flying straight through Shinra's shoulder, making a giant cut that split Shinra's shoulder completely open, making it seem like Shinra's arm may fall off at the slightest movement. With Shinra's blood basically spraying out immediately, a lot of it at that, he passes out on impact. He hits the ground, his arm almost fell off, but his instant healing factor began keeping it together. Joker was able to crawl away, and he was just impressed with someone so strong being a fire soldier now. Now Shinra begins getting healed on the scene, and doesn't even need to take him to the hospital, just needs to have his wound cleaned out because he fell on dirt. So, yeah. So, now when his arm is put back together, there's not even scarring, a slight little scratch. That's really it. He gives a little story on Joker, and I'm going to end this part here. If you guys enjoyed, like, subscribe, comment for another part. Goodbye.